Child abuse and domestic violence are funny? Huh? The trailer to this movie was funny, but when context is naturally added to it as the movie progresses, it's just not that funny. I had only seen the 30 for 30 on Tonya Harding, The Price of Gold, and as far as I remember, the abuse rate didn't stick out as much as it does in this dramatization, or dark comedy. The movie summarizes Harding's life as a 4-year-old ice skating prodigy to her eventual downfall that she became more famous for. It begins with interviews taken relatively recently. They provide commentary at some parts of the movie to clarify their version of the events. I don't believe Tonya all that much since she refuses to take responsibility for anything. She always says that it's not her fault no matter what. In the 30 for 30, she's not sympathetic towards Nancy. She says that people should get over it, and she's done apologizing. Although Allison Janney does a great job playing Tonya's abusive mother, Levana, I thought it was more tragic than funny. It's like uncomfortable to laugh at this, but it's presented in such an absurd and over-the-top manner. You may laugh or you just might think it's just sad. I mean, Allison Janney committed to being an abusive mother. Levana believes her behavior is justified. You get that, and a no F's given win at any cost attitude. Margot Robbie had Tonya's tenacity and unapologetic swagger because Harding was never a traditional skater. She was more athletic in the sense that she could pull off a triple axel, but she lacked the typical skater's grace. She's sympathetic in the sense that she skated as an individual versus someone just following the status quo. She was talented, but her personality clashed with the sport. There's a certain point in the film where her character can barely keep it together since the media circus is all over her. It's a look of sadness with confidence at the same time. The confidence is there for a game face, but the sadness dominates her emotion. Her life has been full of fear and accomplishment. What happiness has ever been procured? Her boyfriend and then later husband Jeff is abusive, and her mom is stupidly too tough on her. She may have had spurts of happiness from winning competitions, but she hasn't achieved the Olympic goal, which would validate everything that she has gone through. Margot Robbie is Australian, so I just think that's pretty good that she can nail an American accent and Tonya's voice at the same time. I thought it was sad that Tonya suffered through child abuse, which allowed her to think that domestic violence was normal. Since if the mother who loves you hits you, what difference does it make when your partner hits you as well? Doesn't he love you? I think the movie does make a point in saying that abuse in any sorts is bad, but I don't think the humor with Tonya chasing Jeff with a shotgun was very funny, even though the typical roles were reversed. It was unsettling. Essentially, the abusers and Tonya were caricatured, which made this film weaker. I think humor softened the blow and stopped this from being a total tragedy or a sob story, but it wasn't enough. It cheapened the movie as well, because I really don't think humor surrounding a main character that was abused was funny. Maybe the actual Tonya Harding liked the portrayal of the events as this crazy, dark humor-filled farce. If it was played as a drama, there would be no entertainment factor other than just being like a dramatized 30 for 30. Sebastian Stan played Jeff Gillooly, and he was Tonya's first husband. Stan did a good job in playing a slimy husband who probably got with Tonya for money and fame, all the while being an abusive jerk. He got the meekness of his character right. Paul Walter Hauser, as Sean Eckhart, Tonya's bodyguard, was really good at playing a complete moron that tells fantastic lies due to being an absolute loser. Jeff was an idiot for having Sean as a friend and a coordinator of the death threat / attack on Nancy Kerrigan. Sean is absolutely not a lovable idiot. He is so stupid that it's seriously not even that funny, because it doesn't feel like it's being played for real. It's like this is made up. or it's just played for laughs. This movie's presentation was disappointing. It had a style similar to Adam McKay's The Big Short, with the fourth wall being broken in telling the story, but this had a worse quality. It had too many wink-wink moments. The culpability of Tonya is questionable, since in the 30 for 30, I don't believe there is a mention that Tonya got a death threat, which then inspired her to deliver a death threat to Nancy Kerrigan. Nancy never got a death threat. This movie added creative liberties to humanize and sympathize Harding. She may not have been that evil, but it does not look good to say that you're sick of apologizing in a 30 for 30. Just be sorry that it happened. But no, she wants to stay relevant in the spotlight somehow. There's probably a reason why Kerrigan doesn't like talking about it anymore, since she had refused to be interviewed for the 30 for 30. She won her medals and awards and wants to move on from that incident because she gets no benefit from talking about it. Does it really make her look good to talk bad about Tonya or about the incident? I don't blame Kerrigan for putting it in the past, since Tonya only benefits from it because she didn't win really anything significant during her competitive period. Ice skating is depicted as a sport where hard work and determination don't always win out, since pandering to the judges' ideals as an ice skater wins them over. I enjoyed the film soundtrack, even though it made the film feel cheap and tacky. But I guess that's the 80s and some of the 70s. It's always a delight to hear Fleetwood Mac's The Chain when everything is going kablooey with all this backstabbing and dysfunction among these people. The media circus is hounding them, and Jeff is by her side at the moment. Would they stick together? I respect Tonya's choice to put in a ZZ Top song, Sleeping Bag, for one of her routines. The main cast in general were great, but they weren't enough to salvage this movie. It felt cheap and wild just to satisfy Tonya Harding herself. It's her truth. It's inconsistent, therefore subjective. It's hard for me to take her seriously if she insists that it's not her fault. In the movie, and at the end of the 30 for 30, there's not a whole lot of self-accountability. The 30 for 30 is there for some form of objective truth, but this movie is more for entertainment, and it's wild and inconsistent.